focus on the utility value vis-a-vis the other players out there. There's other players out there that kind of do real estate development in Second Life and are doing similar things. And you might have a unique feature, but how do you go about setting yourself apart from the other applications that exist that are creating real estate, shopping malls, apartments, all that is out there today?
Great question. So yeah, so we're a platform. We've developed this entire end-to-end platform, the player, the server, the whole tool set for people to use open standards to create content. So we're an alternative to Second Life. If you're a brand, if you're Coca-Cola or you're Nissan and all these brands that have experimented trying to go into Second Life, you have to get your customer to leave the web, go into Second Life, an application which is a 30-minute download. And what we can offer those brands is that same visually rich experience. It can be full screen. Facebook just limits you to the canvas. We can offer that same visually rich experience, but inside the brand's website. So we're an alternative to that, where the consumer can download it in seconds rather than 30 minutes. Then the brand can take it at, say, we just use Coca-Cola as an example, or Nike.com. They can put it at Facebook. They can put it at MySpace. They can put it wherever they want. And the users can take objects from those scenes, put them back in their personal scenes in Facebook. So we're a much more web, flexible, distributed model.
So in terms of your funnel sourcing of users,
yeah.
It's not coming from specifically Second Life, it's coming from the Coca-Cola site or
yeah.
the Apple site. And you go to that site and click on a URL and that brings you to you. Okay.
It can bring the experience right to you at that site. It can bring the experience to you at a social network. And all the brands want to be at the social networks. They don't want to be at Second Life. They want to be at their home destination domain, or they want to be, because where all their advertising drives, or they want to be in a social network where the consumers are.
Right. What makes you say that the users themselves don't want to aggregate, accumulate within places like Second Life, which are kind of more non-denominational, rather than, if you want to be my friend in the virtual world, I have to go through Coca-Cola?
You don't have to go through Coca-Cola. Our application, Vivaty Scenes, is available on the social networks. You get your own personal scene. Think of it more as the way the web is architected. The way the web is architected, you get personal profiles at a social network or any community site, and then you can go to a brand. You can jump around and go to different ones. You don't have to go into a portal like Second Life and then find all that stuff there. So we're bringing the visual experience that's locked up inside those walled gardens of those applications and bringing it into the web and distributing it so end users get their personal scene, brands get their branded scenes, products can have their product scenes, media properties like a movie can have their scene. The user can freely jump. Every virtual location is a URL. It's webifying that whole visual experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just one last question, clarification on the app. So the gal that he ran into,
yeah.
Would that person have to be either another fan of Coca-Cola or part of that guy's friends list?
Part of that guy. In this implementation, it's inside Facebook. This is my personal scene.
Right.
And my friends list is replicated from the social graph I defined in Facebook. So she's my friend in Facebook. And because we're delivering it through that presentation, through the Facebook presentation, we're leveraging that. Your friend, I didn't show you, but your friends are on the wall from Facebook. We've leveraged what exists, and you can open it up to more. You can go public with your scene, but in general, it's doing exactly what you said.
I think the UI is great. I think it's really immersive. I think you've done a lot of really smart things with integrating within this framework and some of the other social networking sites. Easy buddy list, easy chat. You see where you're going. I think the potential is huge, obviously, for like a Coca-Cola branded site or an Indiana Jones site to tie in with product launches. I think the question I have is, what's the metrics for success for you?
Sure. And I apologize, I didn't make that clear enough. I mean, there's personal scenes and branded scenes, and users can jump back and forth. So I should have made that clearer. So there's a combination. But the metrics for success are pretty much, obviously, users is kind of the baseline heartbeat. And then there's minutes of use. And really, minutes of use drives pretty much everything. And that's similar with any kind of online game or virtual world existing today. Obviously, the ultimate metric is translating that into revenue. But those are basically the two. And you already see in virtual worlds today that are very heavyweight, that are a big application and a big download and a walled garden that doesn't integrate with the web. You're seeing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hours, minutes of use in those. So they're very addictive, they're very immersive. You don't go in, and just spend a minute. you go in and you really stay for a long time. So the minutes of use can go shoot off the chart.
What's your thinking on possible mobile integration?
Yeah, we get that question a lot. You know, we are a 3 megabyte plugin, so it's by web standards, it's tiny, itty bitty, but it is a proprietary platform that enables this, and so we would need to be in an operating system on mobile that would enable that. So I feel like it's coming, but we have a couple billion people on the web to focus on first.
I'm going to throw it open to the audience. Anybody from our advertising panel here, anybody who can speak to the brand experience, what their views might be, or just any questions at all? Brett?
Does your persona come along with you?
Yes.
So how does that work? At what point am I authenticating against something so that, you know, if I land on Coca-Cola and I hop into a scene there, I'm still me there?
Exactly.
Where does that?
Exactly. So the ultimate vision of the company is to really empower the user. I mean,
So how does that work though? How does it know? I mean, do I
That's what
authenticate
we
in
do.
each time?
No, you don't have to log in. I mean, we know. We know. We authenticate you automatically when you come in through Facebook. When you come in, we know from your, you know, what's on your
So like
system, who you
cookie or
are.
something.
And the beauty of it is, as many of you who are tracking virtual worlds like Second Life and so on and so forth, because they are a walled garden single application, and all the brands have to live in there, there's one set of rules. As you move from website to website, you can have different set of rules. So if you want to have your personal site and have content that you like, that's maybe not the content that you want to have at you know, Nike.com. Nike, when you jump to Nike.com, they can require that your avatar is wearing a Nike T-shirt, and we'll just automatically put that on you. And so it's distributed like the web. It allows individuals to have control over the context and control.
I get it.
If you're a 16-year-old girl and you're on Facebook and you don't want some guy you don't know in it, you just keep it to your friends list, and then you get control over that. So it's a distributed model versus a walled garden single application model.
I'm assuming the content that you like might mean adult content too.
I mean, we're not focused on that, but we understand that the world is different. Everybody's different, and people are going to have different interests.
I think that's an important point, though, because when you look at your premise here, the virtual reality, typically the utility value, the value prop, if you will, is all about anonymity and discovery of the unreal. And yet your application is about bringing people into the predictable of brands and people they already know. So it seems in terms of a business model, it's enhancing something to be an extension of imagination. And so hooking up with strong sponsorships, whatever the application is, but really leveraging those brands who are trying to extend imagination of their brand and leveraging that as a toolkit would seem to be a more appropriate business model to capture the utility value that we truly offer, as opposed to what a Second Life does for you.
Yeah.
But I think there's ways around that, because obviously you can make it as predictable, and obviously these are pretty predictable scenes, as you said. Coca-Cola is probably going to stick to a pretty clearly defined box. There's no reason why you can't take this scene to Jupiter,
Exactly.
right? Or
Well,
wherever, some other.
I know we're short on
imaginary
time, but
environment.
the brand play is really about increasing the funnel and bringing people into the platform and into the environment. This is a personal scene, and this is just an example of maybe Coke sponsors an object that I've placed into my scene, and they've sponsored, so that's a revenue stream for us. But you're absolutely right, that the real beauty and the real big vision is once people can freely move from personal scenes that they control the content and context of, to branded scenes, and freely move back and forth like they do from web pages, then we will have a choice.
I think one of the keys is providing them the tools and the environments to create whatever environment they want.
Well, I didn't even demo that to you. When you click on edit, there's a series of tools, and you can move everything around in the environment by just dragging and dropping, but we just don't have time. But check out the website, and we're in private beta right now. We have several hundred people running in private beta. We're doing a public launch with our first big brand partner in July, which is a top 10 U.S. consumer brand, and then you'll be able to see it on a larger scale. Thank you.
Beautiful job. Thank you.